Hello guys, welcome back to the series Known Unknowns. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss any updates. In this video, we are going to see about packagelog.json, and the agenda is simple. We'll see what is packagelog.json, contents of the file like what are all present inside the file, and we'll be seeing a quick demo on how packagelog.json can be useful. Without wasting much time, let's jump onto the video quickly. Let me initiate a blank project now. npm init-y. If you see here, my package.json file is being generated and it has no dependencies at all. Let me quickly install a dependency, say React RND, sorry, DND. If you see here, I have got the package added to my package.json and also new file created packagelog.json. If you use yarn instead of npm, you will get yarn-log.json, but the concept is going to be the same. So what is this packagelog.json file? When we do npm install, all our dependencies and dependencies of dependencies and dependencies of dependencies of dependencies gets installed within the node modules folder. If you see here, I just installed one package, but I have so many folders here. This is more like a tree structure with cross relationships. Packagelog.json is an auto-generated file which resembles or which describes this particular tree structure, how dependencies are interlinked, what are all the dependencies required, and so many other details. Okay, this is packagelog.json, but why do we need a file like that? You see here a random JSON file with a lot of data. Why do we need this particular file? Packagelog.json file makes sure the environment you are running your app or your application is going to be the same irrespective of the machine. Remember the famous phrase, it worked on my machine? Like our application has a tendency to break in QA or tester's machine. To avoid such instances, packagelog.json does a lot of uplifting. So this file is basically used to maintain consistency of the dependencies and its trees across platforms, across machines, like even in your CI/CD pipelines. Now let's jump on to the contents of the file. Let's see what are all present within the file. The first field is the name. It's nothing but the name which you have given in your package.json, or it's the name of your application. Second is the version. Version is nothing but the version of your application again. Log file version. This is nothing but the version of the file from which it is being generated. Requires. Requires track the dependencies of dependencies. Like if you take a module or a package, what are all the dependencies required for that particular package is being tracked within package.json, and that is determined by requires field. Dependencies. Here comes the actual mapping. Dependencies is a huge object which has all the packages required by your application within it. Now let's see what each dependencies have within. Say let's consider the first dependency, which is our React DND slash ASAP. I honestly don't know what this dependency does, but let's see its fields. First field is version. It tells us what is the version of the application that is required. This don't have to be a number always. This can also be a URL of a TZZ file, or it can be a URL to a GitHub repository with a hash, uh, or it can even be an URL to a local bundle. Since we are installing it from the registry, it's a version number here at the moment. Resolved. Resolved is the URL of the tarball, or the package itself. Integrity. This is very interesting one. In the web, we have a concept called standard sub-resource integrity. What is that? Forget npm packages and all the stuff. In web, generally, we pull scripts and files from a lot and lot of sources, right? And at times, the file we request may not be the same file what we receive. The version can be changed, the file can be replaced, whatnot. In order to make sure the file we receive is the same file we requested, we use this integrity. It is nothing but a SHA-512 hash value which is unique for every version of a package. This helps us determine if we have received the same package as we have requested. When we scroll down, we see a new one called requires. If you see here in my left files panel, I just installed only one package, but I have so many other packages which are being installed. Because These are all the dependencies of my dependency. That is, React TND requires all the other dependencies to be installed along with it. And the where is all this information stored? It is stored in package.log.json. Now let's see what happens in terms of a dev dependency. Let me install GraphQL tag as a dev dependency. The packages I choose are purely random. If you see here, my dev dependency have been added. It is the version 2.10.3. Let's check our package.log.json. Okay. GraphQL tag version 2.10.0.3. We have our resolved, which is our URL. We have the integrity code. We have a new field called dev. Interesting, right? This is the flag which differentiates dev dependencies from actual dependencies. These are all the important contents of the file which we have to know. Now let's see how package.log.json is useful with a small demo. For the demo, I have removed my node modules package.log.json as well as the other dependencies. I'm just going to hang on with GraphQL tag alone. If you see here, the latest version of GraphQL tag is 2.10.3, and this caret symbol, what does it do? Before going into it, let me explain what semantic release is. If you can see, in the version number there are three numbers. It has three numbers for a specific reason. The last number or the third number is being incremented whenever there is a small patch or bug fixes. The second or middle number is incremented when a new feature is being added. This is still a minor release and it doesn't break the application. The first number is the most critical one and it denotes a major release. That is, this new version has breaking changes than the old version. If you are going to update it, you need to make some changes to your code base. Imagine my dependencies has the version number 2.10.2 and 2.10.3 has a bug fix which is good. When I have the symbol, I don't have to worry about updating it manually because anyways installing a newer version which is not a breaking change is not going to affect the application in any way. Rather, it will fix some bugs or it makes the application better. So this particular caret symbol automatically updates the version to the latest possible stable version or unbreaking version. Now if you see, I have changed the version number to 2.10.2 and let me do a npm install. If you check my package log.json, it has installed the version 2.10.3. If you want the specific version exactly to be installed, just remove the symbol. Let me repeat it. I'm installing the dependencies again. Now if you check, it is 2.10.2. Let's put the symbol back. Assume that the latest version of GraphQL tag is 2.10.2. My package log.json has the latest version with the caret symbol and package log.json has 10.2.2. I'll commit the code and push it. After I push the code, assume that 2.10.3 version is being released by GraphQL tag. And also assume the latest version has some issues. Now I'll tell my QA guy that my application works fine on my machine. He will clone the repo, he will install the dependencies, but now for him the version 2.10.3 will be installed, not 2.10.2. And this version has issues and it will not work on his system. This is where packagelog.json file saves us. With our previous understanding, if we do an npm install now, it should actually install 2.10.3 because of the caret symbol. But let's see what happens. I'm installing the dependencies again. If you go to package.log.json, it still remains as 2.10.2. When there is a package.log.json file present and the version matches with the version in package.json, it always follow the exactly same version and doesn't auto update itself. This will avoid so many conflicts across the organization, across teams and among the developers. If you want to update the package, you can do it manually, making it 2.10.3 again in package.json and installing the dependencies will install the latest version. If you can see here, it's 2.10.3 right now. Of course, package.json file has more trump over package.log.json because we make all our changes in package.json and expect package.log.json to work accordingly. In simple terms, package.json determines what is to be installed, but when there is a decision on the auto upgrade, package.log.json comes into picture. Hence, to maintain the consistency, package.log.json file is very important and it should be committed along with your other code. Hope I managed to bring some light into the file that is being unexplored for many years. That's it for the day. Many people have asked more details on source map and there will be a part 2 for sure in coming weeks. But there is a surprise topic in the next video, so subscribe and stay tuned for it. Stay safe, guys.